Professor Mark Williams, who is a former director of Oxford Mindfulness Center, says that mindfulness simply means knowing what is going inside and outside, moment by moment. So moment to moment awareness is mindfulness. Staying in the present moment is mindfulness. It sounds simple, it is simple, but you need to learn the techniques. You need to learn those exercises. And I'm inviting you to join this online course and benefit for a peaceful life. Namaste, and you're all very welcome to this show that we call My Mind, My Friend, where we get you the experts in their own respective fields to come and guide us on our journey where we are ready to shine our light and live a life that is happy, healthy, mind and body. So on this series, today we have a very special guest in the studio joining us from Perth in Australia. And I'm going to tell you something that Albert Einstein said about intuition. The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift, so that you don't forget the gift that you have been bestowed upon by the divine, which is the intuition. And to know more about your intuitive mind, we have this guest who is going to guide us on our journey, and her name is Beatrice Boots. So please welcome Beatrice on this show. Beatrice,
Hi.
you're very welcome.
Hi, Aparna. Namaste. That was such a beautiful introduction. And I love Albert Einstein. And I love how so long ago he already has this insight that intuition was very important in our society. But we repressed it for centuries, didn't we?
Yes, yes. And
So,
I want to tell a little bit about Beatrice's background. So Beatrice Boots is an intuitive business coach and the founder of Pure Paris, which is a travel business. And she works with creative female entrepreneurs who often are at crossroads in their business. So if they feel stuck and they don't know where to go, how to make a progress, so she can help you to listen to your soul and walk on your own unique path. And Beatrice has lived in many countries and many cities and towns, including Ireland. So I'm joining from Ireland, and Beatrice is joining from Australia, but she has lived in Ireland before. So let's start the conversation around Ireland. So Beatrice, tell us a little bit about your journey and when did you live in Ireland?
okay, I lived in Ireland from 1998 till 2001. And then I came back in 2006 and I left again in 2017 together with my husband, because I met my husband in Ireland.
Oh, wow. So Ireland is very special for you.
It is very special for me indeed. And yes, in the first place, because we met there. And also because when I came to Ireland first in 1998, it felt like I was coming home.
So you felt home in Ireland,
Yes.
but you are from Netherlands.
Yes, I am. I'm indeed from Netherlands or the Netherlands. And
what are the, so now we know about Netherlands, Ireland, and you are in Australia now. What are the other countries that you have lived in?
okay, I lived in France, in Paris, hence Pure Paris, my travel business. I brought women to Paris to fall back in love with themselves. And that's and another country I lived in was Tunisia. And I also lived in Paris, by the way. I worked in a museum because I'm a big art lover. So I worked in the 𝙤𝙤𝙪𝙀𝙪 in Paris. I speak French since I was 5 years old. And yeah, Tunis is a very special spot, has a very special spot in my heart. I did my research there amongst women for
Yes.
my studies.
So,
Yes.
Beatrice, we already have someone who knows you while you were in Ireland,
Oh,
and
how
her name
lovely, Marie.
is yes.
I hope I pronounce it well, because I also had a lot of troubles pronouncing your name, but it's so, so nice to see you all the way in this way online. Isn't it amazing? Yes.
Yeah.
So lovely to have you.
So, and Mary has been on this show as well. So she is doing amazing job with her breath yoga and Pilates studio.
Yes. And I
And
love the studio. I love the Breathe Pilates studio in Trim. And I felt very much at home. It's a lovely little town and a community where I felt very, very, yeah, welcomed.
so
And
you
my,
live in Trim.
I lived in Trim. I lived in Dublin. I lived in Cork. I lived in Trim. But my husband's parents are from Trim, at least one of them. So yes, that's
So
why I
tell
live
us a
there.
little bit, like I'm not very far from Trim either, so that's why I was very interested to know where did you live. But tell us a little bit going back to where you were born, and that's your
Yes,
home country. Home
yes,
country is always very special for all of us, no
they
matter
are.
where we go, how long we live there. Like I'm living in Ireland for 20 years, but of course, I love Ireland, but India will always hold that special place where I was born and brought up. So you were born and brought up in Netherlands. Tell us a
Mhm.
little bit as to why did you leave Netherlands and what happened?
Okay, so first of all, traveling is in my blood, because in my mother's line, my mom lived in Paris in the 60s, was an au pair, and also my grandmother already traveled on her own. So I am from a line of women who travel on their own. So I had this urge to travel. That's to start with. But there was another reason. That was I'm very highly sensitive, and although I was brought up in a family where my high sensitivity was very well received, and I was very loved, and I was very encouraged to be myself. So I was extremely lucky, because I know that there's a lot of people out there that are highly sensitive and that are not welcomed in such manner in their families. So I'm very aware that is very hard when that happens. But in a way, I went through the same thing, and that was that in the Netherlands, Netherlands is a very rational country, where that's why I really loved that you started with Albert Einstein's quote, and how rational thinking is so worshipped throughout the centuries, basically. But intuition is always pushed to the side as not so important. You should listen to your head. You shouldn't listen to your heart. And this is probably valid in a lot of cultures. But I have to say, in Holland, it's definitely very strong. And that probably made me feel a bit out of place. And growing up, being in school, and yeah, I maybe said things to people that I sensed, or thought things that I saw or heard, and I would express them because my parents didn't find it so strange. So I was able to express them, and then they weren't so well received. And that made me feel sometimes, yeah, a bit strange. And that's why I started to travel. And that's maybe also why when I came to Ireland, I felt so at home, because people have a completely different view on the supernatural and on life.
So you felt that your soul is at home in Ireland.
I did, but I do have to say that I do also feel very at home now here in Australia. I'm very much adaptable. So I love cultures. I just love going to different countries and not so much travel all the time as in being a tourist, but I love to go somewhere, soak up the culture, understand, eat the food, understand how people think and live and talk to them. And that's really what lights me up. So
Okay, so as
that's
your main forte is intuitive business coach, I want
correct.
to ask you, what is intuition? How
Okay.
would you define intuition?
Okay. Intuition is in my experience, intuition is a combination of things. So I think that it's not residing in one spot, or it's not one thing, but it is a combined forte, actually. So it is made up out of feelings that are coming from the heart. It's also based on gut feeling, which are basically living in your sacral chakra. It's in your belly area that you have those gut feelings. And
Okay.
they're also made up of your third eye, visions, and things that you potentially see that other people don't see. And that can be, it can be seeing, hearing, feeling, anything. But that's that whole third eye energy, I think. So
And
I
do you
think it's a
feel
combination of things.
people are unable to connect to their intuition or gut feeling because there are so many barriers, or the outside noises or the noises in the head are too loud? So the intuitive mind and the voice that comes from the gut feeling is lost somewhere?
Yes, yes. I think that we have lost our inner compass, our intuition, because we've been told that um, we have to listen to the head, and you cannot be in your head and in your heart at the same time. It's just impossible to have both at the same time. So I feel like we always have those voices in our heads, and they talk us out of things. Our personality is basically, I prefer talking about personality than about ego. I think personality has a very important reason to be. We have personalities also to live our soul purpose, because our personalities have assets that can help our soul purpose to come to fruition. Like, for instance, you love interviewing people, and you love talking about, you love having this conversation. That is part of your personality that helps you live your soul purpose.
Yeah.
So personalities are very important, but at the same time, our personalities also are constantly busy with our fears and our doubts and our guilt and all those ideas that we have in our heads that talk us out to listen to what really is in our hearts. And I think that the heart is the container for the soul. So the heart is, for me, the home of intuition. That is actually the container for the soul to come in contact with the soul through the heart. So
So, do
yeah,
you believe that if we are doing some kind of activities or some kind of rational choices that we are making, so that we are more connected to heart, we are making more space, we are doing some kind of practices like yoga, mindfulness, meditation, all of that can build that connection back to our heart space?
absolutely. I think that you have already taken a few really important parts. I think yoga, meditation, mindfulness, and you introduced beautifully with your mindfulness course. I think mindfulness is a very good tool to have more of that heart connection and that intuitive guidance. But there's a lot of different tools you can have access to. I work with tarot cards because tarot cards can help you tune into your subconscious mind that you normally don't get access to, because we're 95% subconscious, so we don't get access to it.
Yeah.
So oracle and tarot cards help you to tune into that subconscious mind. I don't use them as a fortune telling tool. I use them as a mindfulness tool, actually, and bring that to the surface to
Yeah.
find those treasures that are in your heart.
Like a
And
signpost on your journey. Do you use them
yes,
like that? Yeah.
that's right. And to really bring to the surface your blind spots, because we have a lot of blind spots, all of us. And we need to see those blind spots to move forward. And often we don't find those blind spots without guidance. I think, of course, you can listen to your inner guidance, but it's easier to do it with the guidance of somebody else, because another person sees your blind spots much more easily. And that's valid for everybody,
Yeah. And anybody
including for me.
watching, please feel free to say hello to Beatrice or ask any questions, especially if you're a small business owner and or big business owner and you are feeling at a crossroad with your journey, or even in life in general, you feel that you have an intuitive mind, you have something gut feeling. But if you have any question, Beatrice will be able to answer that here live for you. And if you stay till the end, we are going to bring a tarot card. And on that tarot card, there will be a message for the viewers who are watching us now. And also, Beatrice is going to give a freebie. So there will be a little course that she's going to offer for all of you to join to break all the barriers with your intuitive gut feeling and the heart space and the intuitive mind. So please keep the comments coming, because we would love to connect with you as much as we can, because connection seems to have lost, especially during pandemic, and we are all craving for direct connections where we are looking at the people, talking to them, even online. But if you feel connected with your heart, that's what that matters.
That's right.
So just tell us a little bit about your business. When you come across your clients, what is it that, like, how do you help them with your intuitive business coaching? What kind of field is this, and how do you work with them?
Yes, so I'm very spiritual, and at the same time I'm very pragmatic. So maybe also because I'm from the Netherlands, so I have this very practical side. So I really love to help female entrepreneurs that are often sensitive and creative to tune into their soul and intuition, and to listen to the whispers of their soul and to the whispers of their intuition, to find if they're on the right path or if they might want to take another turn, and also to help them put practical steps into place to grow their business in an intuitive way, without following certain sets of rules that are made up by marketeers, or you get told you have to do this, you have to do that, but when it's not aligned with your soul and with your path, then it won't work. So I feel like everybody should walk their own path, so that when things are in alignment and when you live your soul purpose, manifestation becomes so much more easy. And I have experienced that myself, that when you walk your own path, that things, synchronicity start to happen. There's so much happening and so many signs that you will receive when you start to listen to your intuition, when you start to walk your own path, so that you can move forward in such an easier way, with so much more flow and joy and abundance as well.
Actually, I'm glad that you mentioned about synchronicity, because on my spiritual journey, that has played a huge role. And I always see numbers and they talk to me. So when I see like 1111, when I see 2222, and when I see 444, it's my birthday as well. So I feel that these numbers are bringing me a message. And synchronicity has been such a huge part of my spiritual path. So do you
Yes.
believe that numbers do talk to us?
Absolutely. And it's interesting that you're saying that, and it's not a coincidence, of course, because I went to the beach this morning with my husband because he's off this week. and we went for a swim, and it was really lovely. And but I've been getting quite some challenging information recently about a loss of a friend, and I've also received some information from my father, who has also passed a few years ago, and who's giving me signs and helps me on my path as I go forward. We're almost like a team. He's on the other side and I'm on this side. And I was asking for signs this morning, and I got them so fast. You know, when I was swimming in the sea, you know, sometimes when you have had some challenging news or some challenging experiences, you feel a little bit jumpy. You feel a little bit, you're afraid something bad is going to happen again. You just are a bit on edge and not completely relaxed. Your nervous system is tensing up. And I think that with COVID, probably a lot of people suffer from this anyway, from the journey we're going through with COVID. And that's what was happening to me this morning. So although I was in the sea, I was a little bit worried. And I was just asking for a sign. And we walked out of the water, and we got dressed, and we went onto the footpath, and I was asking for a sign from my father. And there was a man standing at the side of the road, and he was looking at the sea, and he was about 83 years of age. And I wasn't even thinking of my dad yet when I saw him, and I greeted him and I said, "What a lovely day, isn't it?" And we made some contact and we had a chat. And then my father said, my husband said to me, "That's really interesting, because he really looked like your father. Did you notice?" I said, "Yes, I did. Now that you say it, this was one of the signs." And then after that, I got loads of number plates with my mom's and his initials, and with numbers from houses where we have been living. And so in a short period of time, I got like 5 signs. So I asked for one sign and I got 5 or 6. So
And I'm already getting a
amazing.
goosebump listening to your experience, because I can imagine, and I do believe in all of that. So
Yes.
definitely I'm making a big, huge connection there. And I'm so sorry about your loss,
Thank
the
you very
recent
much.
loss. And yeah, but we must express our emotions in every way we can. And
Right.
Beatrice, I'm already getting some questions here from the audience. So
Yes,
the question
that's
that
great.
I'm going to take is from Mari. Uh, she says, "Sounds fascinating, Beatrice. Thank you. How do we encourage more use of our intuition than what seems to be the predominance of using the head and logic?" So that's
Okay.
a very profound question there for you.
All right. There's many ways that you can use, that you can enhance your intuition. And I think my gift at the end, I have a freebie to give away, and I think my gift at the end could really help you, Marie, and also other listeners with tuning into to the heart and into your intuition more. So definitely stay tuned for that. But a really easy way that we forget about often, that helps you tune into your intuition more, I feel, is nature. It's so logical, but we forget to really be mindfully, in a mindful manner, in nature, and to sit next to a tree and just feel the energy of the tree, or to use your senses, basically. Listen to the birds and not talk or not look at your phone, but just indulge yourself in nature. We don't do that enough, including myself. I have to force myself sometimes to go on a walk at the end of the day, but when I do, I get back in tune with myself. We come back home to ourselves, and that's when we start to tune back into our intuition better. And we can do that when you do that very often, and quite often during the day, then it becomes a mindfulness way. And it's interesting because I pulled a card earlier on. I will pull another card later today for the audience, but it's interesting that this question comes up because I pulled a card from my, you can't see it, so I'll read it out, from my mentor, who is in Ireland as well. And it says nature clear. So I'm also an energy practitioner, and I was taught by my mentor, Janine Thorpe, to use essences and frequencies to clear energy. And sometimes when you feel stuck in the head and when you clear your energy, that can really help you to drop back into the heart. So what we can do now is just put your feet on the ground, and you can do this as well, Aparna, and close your eyes for a second. And I'm just going to read out this card. And it's called Nature Clear. And that's why I thought it was interesting, because of the question and because I think that nature is such a good way to come back into the heart and feel into your intuition. And it says, I allow this essence to support me, to clear my energy, and to release all that is not for my highest good. I allow it to support me, to restore my energy to its authentic balance and vitality, and to bring me into flow with joy, love, and peace.
Thank you so much. I really needed to hear that. And I have actually another comment here from Prashant Shukla. He says, great talk, Beatrice Boots. Does intuition combine the knowledge, experience, and the skills you require, or it is some inherent personal ability that only certain people have?
Okay, that's a super interesting question. Thank you so much for asking that, Prasant. Can you leave the question there so that I can have a good look at it?
Yes.
Thank you. So basically, I'll go to your last bit of your question first. Is it some inherent personal ability that only certain people have? I don't think so. I think everybody can get in touch with their intuition. It doesn't matter where you're from, who you are, you can always enhance your intuition. I do think that some people are maybe born with more sensitivity. So about 10 to 15% of the population is highly sensitive. And maybe it's even 20 now with the children that are born that are more sensitive. And in the animal kingdom, there's also people that are more sensitive, animals that are more sensitive than others. For instance, in a group of animals, in a herd, a certain percentage of animals will sense danger is happening and they start to run. And that's that 5%, I think. And then they start to run and then the rest will follow. So I think that intuitive people are actually the leaders of tomorrow. And that's definitely true that certain people are maybe more intuitive than others. Maybe you were raised in a country or in a family where your intuition was more respected or encouraged. That will make a difference. But in principle, everybody can learn to use their intuition. That's what I believe. Then the first part of your question, does intuition combine the knowledge, experience, and skills you acquired? I find that a very interesting question as well. If I understand you right, I do think that using intuition, in my opinion, is a higher intelligence. It's the highest form of intelligence. But being able to combine your intuition with your mind, your intellect, can be extremely powerful as well. So to give you an example, when I help people to find their soul, their life purpose, I also do a talent test, and we look into your core strength. And when you look at your core strength and you understand from an intellectual point of view what you are naturally good at. And maybe you don't even realize that you're good at that because people have, it's so natural for you that you're good at it that you don't even realize it's special. And using that, the skills and the talents that you have, and then bringing the intuition in to have a look at that and have a chat about that and have a look in how you can choose a pathway from that or a new pathway from it, can definitely help you to move forward in life. So I don't know if I've answered your question, but that's what I felt I needed to say intuitively.
Thank you. And yeah, I would like to say that it's not only for people who are on the path of finding their soul or they are seekers, but
Yeah,
great leaders, including Steve Jobs, often made big and important decisions based on his intuition. So
absolutely.
people who make a bigger impact in the world, they do follow their gut instinct. And I have another comment here from Sylvia. And Sylvia is saying, music and healing. What are your thoughts? Playing with whales at sea was our last podcast. So maybe she's talking about her own podcast. But yeah, would
Ah,
you have any say about music and healing? Does that play any role in intuition?
yes, I definitely think so. It definitely helps you to drop in the heart and to what often is underneath not being able to access your intuition is our emotions that are blocking us. So I'll give you a personal example that I actually do definitely believe that wills and the sounds and music is super healing. I received a healing really recently, only about 10 days ago, from a healer who helped me with the last loss, because I lost a few people through suicide and one of them happened only recently. And I was like a lot of people do when they lose somebody through suicide, is that they feel guilty. What could I have done? What could I have done? So a lot of grief and guilt is surfacing for me at this time in my life. And she sent me a message that normally she gave the healing from a place of silence, but for me, she felt she needed to play wills, noises, and music. So it's very interesting and synchronized that this question is coming in. And I listened to her recommendation, a specific will sound that she chose for me. And I, for the first time, could cry. And there was a big release in my emotions. So I think that there was a lot of healing happening there for me. And so, yes, I can say from my own experience, it's a great tool. And
And I
it's not,
totally agree with you as well, because I find
yes,
that music is a way to find your soul for many people. Like, I'm
that's
not even
right.
a professional singer or anything like that, but what I get from music, I can't get from anything else.
That's
Not
it.
even in meditation, what I can get from music. I
Yes,
actually have one another important person here joining us today from India, and she's
yes,
a member of my family, and she's highly intuitive. She's my sister, and
yes.
we all know that she's gifted with this intuition, that she helps to guide even other people unprofessionally, like, in her own role as a sister, mother, daughter. She always
A lot
helps
of people
people,
do.
and she's here today. So I want to just quickly tell that we were going through very difficult phase in pandemic when my own dad, who has a severe COPD, and he caught this COVID, and he was very sick in the hospital, and there were no beds available in any hospitals. There were no oxygen cylinders, and people were dying everywhere in India at that time, unfortunately. And
So
like,
sorry to hear.
we were at this crossroad, and like we were like, no bed, but we wanted a bed. So somehow my husband had a friend who is a doctor in India, and he organized a bed for him very near our home. And then my family had to make this very important decision whether to send him to hospital or not send him to hospital. And only purely based on intuition, my sister and my family made this decision that they will not send him to hospital, even though the bed was not available, and they were given this very, like,
Small opportunity.
window of half an hour to make this decision to save his life. And purely on intuition, they said no, we want to
Mm,
look after him whatever way we can.
at
And
home.
actually, people who were going in hospital, later we found out that the dead bodies were coming out. And my
Yes.
father made a miraculous recovery within a
Whoa.
couple of days. Of course, we were lucky that my sister is also a nurse like me. So she helped to administer IV medications, which wouldn't have been possible for other families. But my
No,
sister's intuition and the science from my other sister, who is a nurse. So it was such a beautiful
they
combination
combined.
of intuition and science and saving the life of
Mm.
my dad.
Wow, that is an amazing story. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's
And
such a powerful
this girl
story.
is here now, and she
Yeah.
wants you to read a tarot card for her.
Okay.
If
Let
possible.
me see. Because I was going to pull a collective card, but for your sister, it feels like I need to pull another card. Sorry, I
That's
didn't
okay. Yeah, take your
count
time.
on that.
Because
I'll
we are
just,
just putting you on a spot because we didn't plan this, but let's go with intuition.
that's okay. Alka, very, very welcome. Nice that you're here with us. How special being here all the way from India. Is your sister in
Yes, she's
India?
in India.
Okay. So I'm going to pull a soul card for your sister. I'm just going to leave her name there so because I can tune into her name and her energy. And cards work also very synchronized. So there's never a right or wrong. It's always the right cards. And the cards I'm going to use, sometimes they can be a little bit challenging, but there's always a positive little message underneath. So don't fear if it's a little bit challenging. It's just bringing something to the surface that can be released. And it doesn't have to be, but it can be, just to give you a little heads up. Okay, so I'm going to pull a card for your sister, Alka Mishra. Do I pronounce that right?
Yes, correct.
Alka Mishra, Alka Mishra, Alka Mishra. Okay, it's a very positive, happy card. And it's called Imagination.
Okay, I want to say something, but I'll wait
Tell
until
me.
you finish.
You can say that. What did you want to say?
Actually, she has just launched her new business, which is called Era Imagination. So,
Woohoo! That is amazing. I think she's going to be quite amazed with this card then. And it's quite special because, yeah, it's cards are really my thing. I've used cards for over 20 years in my own life, in my personal life. And I started to use cards in my business to do soul readings, but also business readings, and also to teach people how to use cards, because cards tell a story. And I have a very creative background as well. I have a photography and writing background. So I don't have an entrepreneurial background. I grew into entrepreneurship through following my heart, writing, and then starting to write about Paris, and then taking people to Paris, and then I started to coach and took a completely different path in my life and started to use tarot cards. And first I didn't dare to come out with my cards because I thought people would think I'm totally nuts and mad. But cards, just when I pull cards for people, it lights me up, and it also really connects people. So I feel that this card is a beautiful connection between Alka and myself just by pulling this card for her. And underneath it says, I embrace and nourish the creative aspect of my mind. And that's probably so spot on because, and that's also so inclusive into intuition, because intuition is basically all to do with the right brain. And is that right? Yeah, the right brain. The right brain is the creative part of the brain, and we're just told to use the left brain a lot, but that creative brain is so powerful, and cards are really helping you to tune into that creativity. And I would love to hear more about her business another time. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, and it's like I'm even shocked that how imagination word came up, because
Yes,
it's 𝙤𝙤𝙪𝙞. That's the name of her publishing business. So absolutely.
that's very, very special.
And now,
Yes.
unfortunately or fortunately, we are getting more requests. I don't know if it is.
That's okay.
Sylvia is here and she's saying if you could possibly pull a card for me as well, because she's
Yes,
interested.
yes. Now, because you're live, I don't mind at all. I'll just, I will pull another card from another deck. I wasn't prepared for this.
Sorry, yeah,
That's
even
okay.
I wasn't. I didn't think we are going into tarot card at all, but I think let's go with intuition.
That's right. It's just, it happens as it happens, and there must be a reason for people. Maybe people really need this, and
Yes,
whatever people need is fine with me, because that's why we're here. We're here to serve and to help, and it's just really beautiful that people are so responsive. And if you feel like you, of course, one card is nice. But if you really want to have a good insight in where you are at the moment, then please reach out to me, because I can help you in such a bigger way and make such a bigger impact in your life if you reach out to me and potentially you want to do a reading or receive a reading from me. So just to let you know that that's what I do as part of what I do a lot of different things. So Sylvia, where is Sylvia? Do you know?
She could be in Ireland. I'm not really 100% sure.
So
Sylvia, can you answer? Where are you? Where are you based at the moment?
Sylvia Moran. Sound Irish to me. Okay, Sylvia Moran, Sylvia Moran. I'm going to pull a card for Sylvia from the Angels and Ancestors deck. So I have a lot of different decks. And it's also very nice to choose different decks intuitively. Normally when
Sylvia says she's in Ireland and she's actually
Yes.
joining us through LinkedIn. So we
Okay.
are live on 3 platforms, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. And Sylvia is on LinkedIn and she is
Yes.
in Ireland.
Yeah.
And she's big into sound and healing.
Oh, yes, yes. That's lovely. And I am very active on LinkedIn. So please connect with me on LinkedIn, because I do cards every week on LinkedIn. So you can choose cards and get to know me a little bit better with my posts. So definitely connect with me, Sylvia, if this appeals to you. Oh, I get a very sharp pain in my left eye. I don't know what that means.
Take your time, Beatrice.
Card for you. Okay, the card is Traveler. And if Sylvia connects with me, then I can send her the card in a personal message. Move in a new direction, it says.
So
Move
Sylvia,
in a new direction.
yeah, that's the message for you. Move in a new direction. And it's
And
Traveler.
that's right. A really
Yeah.
beautiful cards as well.
Thank you so much, Beatrice, because we were not prepared for this, and this is not the
That's
show
okay.
about today anyway. So
That's okay.
let's come back to our topic, and let's also find out quickly because we are about to end. So tell us a little bit about your book, Phoenix Rising.
Okay, so Phoenix Rising is a co-authored book that I wrote last year with a group of women that went through adversity and difficult periods in their life. And the subtitle of the book is Phoenix Rising, Women Who Rose from the Ashes to Claim Their Place. And it's it's a really beautiful collection of stories. And my story is called The Gift. And The Gift, the title was given to me by the first friend that I lost through suicide, and that was actually on a trip to Paris, where I was hosting a show. No, not a show. I was hosting a guided tour where people came to be on a tour in Paris with me. And she was my photographer and friend, and I was going to stay with her, and she was going to take pictures on my sensational Paris tour, as it is called. And she took her own life, and that was a hugely shocking event for me, as you can imagine. And that's what my story is about. But it's the beautiful part about that event, although it's super tragic, is that she helped me reclaim my gifts. Because what happened afterwards is that I went into therapy in the Netherlands when I was staying with my mom. And I went into therapy, and I basically I needed to go into therapy because I am so highly sensitive that I basically was going out of my body to help her. Because as a child, I also used to guide already souls that would have passed. I would guide them to the afterlife. And I basically, that happened with Angelique, my friend, and I was so dedicated to helping her that I almost left my body myself. And I found out that we are here in our bodies to manifest our souls on earth and to live our earthly life. And for spirituality, for intuition, for anything that you do, for manifesting your dream business, anything that you do, you have to focus on the body. You have to be in your body. And I realized I wasn't incarnated properly. I was outside of my body most of my life. And I started to use chakra healing. And the chakra healing really helped me to discover how our body is a pathway for manifestation, and that all the chakras have their aspects and their role in helping you manifest what you want rather than what you don't want. And so this was the gift. I retrieved my own gifts, the gifts that I already had. So that's why the story in Phoenix Rising was so accurate for me, because it is all about turning difficult situations into really positive experiences. Although they're very hard, and this is why I tell people this as well, is because you might go through a part of your life where you have it hard, where you have it difficult. I just want to encourage you. We need you to shine your light on this earth. You sing a specific note, and Sylvia, you talk about music, but we all sing a specific note, and that note makes a collection of notes, and that makes a song. In the whole of the on earth, everybody has their specific note and tune to sing, and we need you. And specifically in this time, we need you here on earth. So that's my message also to people, that I want to ask you, please shine your lights.
Yes, and you always say that why people should not give up and prosperity
Yes,
will follow if they
that's right.
follow their soul path, if they follow their
Yes,
intuition, they will
that's right.
find their destination.
Yes, because sometimes it's very difficult to earn your money when you're very sensitive and creative. And I have gone that path myself. When you're creative, it's not always easy to adapt to the world, the modern world we're living in, to adapt to the way people think how you should live. And it's just important to be yourself. And when you make impact with your talents, with your skills, with your being, then, and your intuition knows, your inner wisdom knows what you're supposed to do. And if you don't know, find help. Find
Yes,
help to find that path. And
yes,
that will make this world a better place. And when you make impact, manifestation will be so much easier. When you're aligned with your soul, manifestation becomes so much more easy, and miracles will happen,
yes. And we
like
have
with your father.
Claire. I think Claire is joining us from Spain, and she says, "Thank you so much. A wonderful session to help us move into intuitive way of being."
That's
And
beautiful, Claire. Thank you so
this
much for
is,
saying that.
yeah, absolutely such a wonderful session. And please don't go away because we are about to finish, but we will be doing a collective reading. And we will also be giving you a free course if you are trying to remove all the barriers and connect
Yes,
to
a
your intuition.
meditation, not a free course, but a meditation, a free meditation that
A
can
free
enhance
meditation.
your intuition and can
Yes,
help you to sink, let your head go a bit and put it to the background and sink into your heart and
yeah.
start to live more from the heart. So it's
And it
really
makes
powerful
so much
meditation.
sense what you said earlier about coming back to the body because, like in Raji Yoga, when I went first, which was my starting point of my spiritual journey, and
Mhm.
we practice like, I have this body, but I'm not this body. So you live with the soul consciousness. And then when I came to MBSR, all our meditation always call us to come back to the body. What do you feel in the body? What are the sensation? And everywhere I go and listen, and you said exactly the same thing. How can
Yes.
we start to live in our own bodies? So mind,
Absolutely
body.
so true. Absolutely so true. And that's why the senses are so important. They are the key. And that's why music, hearing is just one of the senses. That's why it's so healing. But I also use essential oils, and essential oils are connecting you with the smell. And smell can help you with your intuition as well. You
Yeah,
know,
I'm glad you mentioned that because my last session was actually on essential oils, aromatherapy.
oh, yes,
Yes.
I love essential oils. They kept me going. Essential oils kept me going in difficult times. They connected me with myself. They connected me with my body. With
So which one is it that helps you most?
oh, I have a lot of different ones, but I took geranium out because it's the oil of self-love. So I
Okay.
took that out because I needed it, and I thought it was really nice to, even if I have it here on my desk, it will shine through this screen to people that need it. And I used clary sage, and clary sage is very much to do with your intuition. It
Yes.
tunes you into because yeah, intuition. I use oils very much from an intuitive perspective and help you to enhance your intuition, also in my coaching. And I used peppermint because peppermint, it gives you that little bit of joy when you need it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Beatrice. And I
Yes,
really appreciate because this concept of intuition kind of remains sometimes elusive for people, and sometimes they are just intrigued, but they don't know how to access their own intuition. The idea
yes,
of making daily, like, daily you're making hundreds of decisions without even knowing, and some of them are really, really important for your life. And if you could
yes,
keep your analytical mind aside for the moment and just trust what your gut instinct is, it
Yes.
might, help you to have a bigger impact in the world.
It will help you for sure. And I think, I don't know, I saw a comment of somebody, and I couldn't read it because it went too fast, but I think it was about the time we're living in. We're living in a time at the moment
Yes,
where we are, yeah, right message at the right time. That's right. We're living in a time where more and more people realize that timing, synchronicity, intuition are very important. We're birthing a new world together. We
yes,
are, and
yes,
you are there to help us birth that.
yes. And Mari is saying, well done,
Oh,
Beatrice and
thank you
Aparna Shukla.
so
Great job.
much. Thank you.
And
Namaste.
can we now have that
Cards.
motivated card for the audience?
Yes,
Everybody
yes,
who's listening, this is a message for all of us.
that's right. And I decided, I just intuitively picked the Archangel deck cards from 𝙤𝙤𝙪𝙞𝙪𝙤. She's an older lady who's really amazing if you have ever heard of her. Her cards have special energy as well. So I'm going to pull a card, and I'm going to do it in a way that I normally would do it when I work with somebody one-to-one. So Aparna, you can say stop, and I'll pick the top card of the deck, and that is the card for everybody that is listening, a message.
Okay. Stop.
The card is Archangel Azrael. It's a beautiful card. And underneath it says, and I'm going to read the text as well if you have the time, it is time to let go. Prepare for change.
So the message is loud and clear for everyone. The time for change. Let go. Let go. That does not serve
Yes.
you anymore.
Yeah. And I actually don't think I have to read the text. I think this is enough. So
Yeah.
it's time to let go, prepare for change. And this is so aligned with what I said about the birthing of the new world. So when you listen to this, you didn't listen to this for nothing. And yeah, let go more and more and more of what you think you know, and feel in your heart, what are you meant to be, do, say, dare to show up.
So, Beatrice, how people can find you and connect with you, and what is the offering that you are giving them today?
Okay, so you can connect with me through Facebook and LinkedIn, and I am under, oh, that's lovely. I can relate with this message. That's beautiful, Alka. Thank you for sharing that. So you can connect with me through Beatrice Boots on LinkedIn. On Facebook, you can connect with me with Beatrice Boots Byrne. I'm actually under my husband's name Byrne as well,
You have a
B-Y-R-N-E.
website as well.
And I have a website, but I'm redoing my website. So my website is not the best way. The best way for you to stay in contact is either through LinkedIn or Facebook. And when you download my freebie, my intuition, my heart activation meditation, you'll be in my email system. You'll get loads of different messages about intuition, synchronicity, manifestation, energy. I talk a lot about energy. And then you can always hit reply and just say hi to me and tell me something about you, make some contact. I love connecting with people. So
Yeah, so maybe after the show, if Beatrice, you can leave in the comment box below the link for them to find the course that you're talking about, so that they can just click
yes.
and
Oh, can
register.
I do that here in the chat?
Yeah,
Or
if
do I
you,
do it, or do I do that later in
I
the...
I'm not 100% sure, but even after the show, if you can leave in the comment box below, or if you share it with me, I will put it in the
Yeah, I
comment.
can do the freebie. I can do that now. That's very, very
Yeah,
easy to do for me. I'll find that easy quickly.
because we are really running out of time now
Well,
at
I
this
know we've
stage.
been really, really late, long chats, but I hope
Yes,
everybody has enjoyed it. I will.
I'm sure they did. We are getting lots of positive feedback.
Great. So here's the link to the freebie, the intuition that you can download. Maybe you can try to
Let me
click and see
see
if it
if
works.
I can share it with the audience. 1 second.
Oh, it's a private chat.
No, that's okay. I'm able to post that. Yeah. So
Excellent.
I have posted the link. So if you want to connect, if you want to take advantage of this, uh, yeah, so do click on this link. And thank you so much, Beatrice. Please, everybody, do not give up. And the
No,
message is to keep shining your light. We need women in business. We need female entrepreneurs. We need to bring the balance in this world of masculine and feminine energy. And that will only be possible through using your intuition.
that's right. Keep shining your light and access your intuition. And lots of love to everybody. Thank you so much for listening. And thank you so much, Aparna, for having me.
Not at all. Thank you. Have a lovely
Thank
day.
you. You
Bye.
too.
Namaste.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.